All right, recording's in progress.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just want to take a few moments here to remember those that gave their lives so that we can live in a wonderful community like we do. Those who've served, their families, those that waited at home for news from their loved ones for safe return. If I can call for order, Eugene Ochoa, Angel Alvarez.
Here.
All right, super. Any order of business, deferrals, additions? We'll open up for public comment. Rule of thumb is 3 minutes, I'm told.
That is correct.
My name is John Frensdorf. I'm the Vice President of Operations for SFM Security. We are in the process of being awarded the contract to provide security services for Loch Lomond. We're thankful for the opportunity. We know there is a challenge involved. I participated in previous meetings with residents to understand their needs. We have a plan in place that is being implemented to recruit qualified security officers and provide equipment in order to enhance security services. You have been provided with a copy of our current post orders. We will abide by these post orders, and if they're amended in the future, we will obviously work on those amendments. And we're going to be emphasizing heavily the training aspect of our security officers. So it is understood that there are certain policies contained in those post orders that cannot be deviated. One of them being that the guardhouse cannot be left unmanned at all times. The rover needs to take a more proactive approach by being more assertive with anyone that is walking or just pacing the community. So they are being challenged. We will be calling on the police for whoever we feel that presents a questionable behavior that requires the police to attend. We want to increase the security profile for the community, and to do that, we will enforce these regulations. As far as technology, we will be providing the guardhouse with a camera to allow for 24/7 monitoring of the security officer working in that guardhouse. And we will basically make sure from our security operations center there is oversight on the performance of that security officer. We will be utilizing a team of some experienced officers in working this type of detail, meaning officers that have already worked before in guardhouses and in rover positions. Our approach is to not have them work an 8-hour shift on one position, but to switch them around throughout the day. We believe that any person working 8 hours a position could get tired, could get monotonous, and just stop doing the job. So by mixing the roles, we believe that we bring their attention up, and that also increases the way that they go about their job. I don't have much else to add. We are right now in the process of recruiting security officers. Our start date is going to be October 6th. November 6th at midnight. So we're looking forward to the opportunity. And I'm obviously open to any questions, any suggestions, anything that you would like us to implement in this process. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. A few more words in?
Yeah, my name is George Gonzalez. I'm the operations manager. I work under John. Basically, we work along with also JP. Just like the other communities that we take care as well. We're very communicative in communication via text, via calls. Even with the residents, they have no time for them to call me. They could call me, text me, to address any situation or anything that we may need to address with the officers. If they need to be retrained or even removed from the account because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then of course, then we will take those actions. But first, we also like to do a retraining rather than removing them, that will be like basically the last resort. It's gonna be a challenging thing to do, but at the end of the day, I think we're comfortable to doing the job. I mean, just like we've taken care of the other communities, I think we'll be comfortable doing the job here as well.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So, thank you.
Anybody else like to make public comment?
Yeah, in your interviewing of new people, please make sure that they speak English.
Yes.
Because we found that that's a problem with people we have. I've gone and said, oh, there's somebody walking around, oh, that's good, because they don't have a clue. So it's very important that whatever language that they're bilingual, at least to speak English, so that they, and enough to understand that somebody has a situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Thank you. That's very important.
Go ahead.
A question or a comment, when you say recruiting, does that mean you guys are just getting rookies, or are you recruiting experienced guards? That would be one of my questions. The other one would be, are any of the existing guards that have been, working for 20+ years, going to transfer over to your company, or is everybody out? Is this gonna be just like brand new, fresh?
At the moment, we're actually looking into see from the other communities to see if we could transfer some of them. Now, if in the case that, of course, the schedule
That's not his question. His question is from our community, are you gonna keep any other guards?
well,
That's one of my questions.
Correct, I'm adding to what he's asking.
Okay.
So if in the case that one of our officers from the other communities do come on board to this account, then we'll do so. Now, I was presented with 3 new officers from Loch Lomond, actually. 2 of them already had reached out to me. I have an interview with them, one on Monday and another one on Wednesday. So if, they're the ones that they seem to be the person to come in on board, then I will be taking them in. But I've only been presented with 3. That's it.
How about but that was one of my questions. The other question is, the people that you recruit, I know you said you're gonna try to pull some guards from other communities,
Correct.
but whatever, if you can't pull them, are they gonna be like fresh off the street or
No,
what?
I'm actually trying to look for seasoned officers rather than rookies in the sense of like, they just got the card. No.
We are looking for officers with at least 3 years' experience, working in either rover or guardhouse or a combination of both.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, we'll move on to old business then. We have minutes from the last meetings. We have an approval to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
All right. All right, thank you, Angel. All right, President's report. Well, you've already heard, he'll be building on top of it. So November 6th is the due date. We'll have a new company guarding us with their post orders. John, I think you're presenting that later, I understand, or there's a handout anyway.
I provided the post orders,
Okay,
yeah,
so
but we'll get to it.
And so that's what I have to report regarding that. Security Committee, Eugene, please.
Well, we've had a tumultuous 2 or 3 months. The decision, it was not an easy decision, but I think the town is in the right direction, which is to temporarily remove the company that we have now. Hopefully now with SFM, we see not a gradual, but a superior type of improvement. I am pretty impressed that they've shown up to several meetings and they seem like they're listening. First time I see posting orders, never saw that from the other company at all.
I brought those out because it was something that he wanted to discuss.
Right, no, but I
I thought it was
mean,
important to.
yeah, but we've never seen, from the other company, we never saw it. And we asked for this from them.
Just an FYI, they had post orders as well.
No, we know that they did, but we wanted them to bring them to,
Right.
and they didn't show up to the meeting or they didn't, produce them. So it's refreshing to see exactly what those are. We're still active, there are certain things that are still in play, for when a new RFP, comes out. The idea is to have a new RFP that's a lot tighter. I will tell you, one of the biggest things that we found in the security, this is before your time, but there was a lack of town, involvement. The representation, a lot of the work was being done by us, and then Kent can't talk to us because they gotta talk to you guys and so forth. So I'd like to see a lot of improvement on that. I think now it's being taken, now that they, you know, you're new to us. You're responsive, that's very important. There are other items beside the security guards. There's issues of lighting, there's issues of readers that we want to implement or at least put those out to be implemented. I think that those have to be voted in because of the cost. There's also the discussion of, if it doesn't work out with the security company, that we have a roving police officer between a certain time to a certain time. All those things have to be, I believe, voted in.
Those would be considered capital improvements.
I believe those are, I don't know if they're capital improvement, but they're enough where I would feel comfortable that they be voted on by the community, right? So, but lighting is very important. The first step is being taken, which is the new company. I think these gentlemen are serious. We'll see how they're, I think one of the Achilles heels, and I'm talking to everybody here, but I'm also talking to them, is the quality of the guards and the training, the support and training that they get. We really have seen a degradation in the guards, and I think part of what was happening is they can't find people. And I suspect that they have the same problem. That's why they're even going to maybe recruit some of our guards that we had. But even if they utilize the same guards, there has to be drastic improvement in the quality of vigilance. They have not reported one incident. And there are incidents all the time that we report, that we find. So it's very important that there's something on the record to defend why we even have a security, you know, we pay pretty good amount of money. And the writing, some of the stuff was scribbled, looked like they couldn't write or read. Not sure if that's the case or they just didn't care. It was pretty bad. So we're hoping that there's a drastic improvement in that, and hopefully that being the case, the SFM can participate in the new, whenever that comes out, the new RFP, and to be a part of it, so that we want zero crime is our goal. And we know that that's not possible all the time, but we want to make sure we maintain that. Roger, you have anything you want to add?
No, just, what's gonna be, the means of getting license plate numbers?
I'm not sure that they can't respond.
Oh,
You could open it up, to two
Okay.
of you can, the three of you can open it up to public comments again if you'd like.
Okay,
well,
well,
only to avoid the scribble,
Right.
and we discussed it, and other people discussed it, I think. Something as simple as a phone that can take a picture, or an iPad, that gives you license plate, the color of the car, and the make and the model.
Okay, so I want to unpack that a little bit before we open it to public comment.
Okay.
So what you're talking about there, I don't know if you heard, I'm gonna let them respond when I open it up, but when I request to open it up for public comment, but we're working on one, we're looking for our own system that's gonna have our own reader. There are several reasons why we do that. One is that if we ask the town to do it, you know how difficult, the town has to follow certain rules and certain things, and it becomes difficult for them to manage, it becomes costly, and the cost is ultimately passed on to us. So there is something, Raul has some very good ideas that we're looking at, to implement that as well. But I'd like to make a request that we open up to public comment so they can discuss how they do the picture taking and the clarity and reporting on that.
All right, so you move second? All right. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I want to touch upon two subjects regarding the recruiting. The fact that 3 names have been provided to us simply indicates there is an interest for these three fine gentlemen to participate in the process. Whether they will be selected or not, that's going to be subject to their abilities, their experience, and how they rank with other candidates that we have within our company and others that apply to the position. We understand that it's a tough labor market. We believe the labor market has stabilized. And so we are seeing an influx of candidates who are interested in a stable, a serious position with a compensation that is competitive. So I trust our ability to select the right officers. And if those officers happen to be some of the ones that are experienced at working at Loch Lomond, it will be because we trust that they bring experience and professionalism that allow us to deliver the services that you demand. That on the recruiting side. On the technology side.
Before you go to the technology side, I wanna, since we're in comment, I wanna add something to that. I wanna make sure it's clear. One of the issues that we had before is if we're gonna ask a company to take care of a problem for them, they're the professionals, we have to be careful. I'm not advocating that you do or that you don't hire these people. I think it has to be up to the company. It's a little painful for us sometimes because these people have worked with us or for our community for 25 years. But in some cases, it's very difficult for a corporation to deliver the service that we're requesting when we're saying, hey, you know what, you need to keep these 4 people, or we like you to, it would mean a lot to us to do this, because they don't necessarily go hand in hand. And in some cases, that may, I'm not saying it is, that may be part of some of the issues that are going on. So I think it's important, if they hire them, I'm not gonna hold it against them. If they don't hire them, I'm not gonna hold it against them. And I think as a security committee, it's a good idea that's gonna be up to them, because they report to the city, we're gonna clamp out on the city. We need to go back to the rule of law of what, to be able to hold people accountable. Sorry, so that you can, I just wanted to get that out there so that it's clear, that we're not gonna dictate.
I appreciate the liberty of allowing us to do our job. On the technology side, we try to operate a paperless company, meaning that everything that our security officers do is done through a phone, through an app. It's called Practic. It's one of the many apps that are available to the community, the security community, that is. And this one in particular allows security officers to clock in, clock out, take care of all their, HR, payroll related responsibilities. But when it comes to the security operations side, it allows them to basically use the phone features, such as the camera or the microphone, to record everything that needs to be included in an incident report. Now, for the purpose of this conversation, I would like to separate those reports in 2. One is the regular report that we call the log, that is going to be replacing the manual log that is utilized today by officers to register vehicles entering the community. We're going to be replacing that with a phone, and that phone will be taking a picture of the vehicle's rear area, and it will capture the vehicle's license plate, the color, the make, and the model. This information is kept and archived for months and years. We have already used it on several occasions to identify unauthorized entry to the community. When I say unauthorized, I mean we know that we need to allow everyone in, but we have been able to trace back unwanted visitors to the community. Maybe that's a better word. Now, this phone is used to take literally hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures. And we normally come to these meetings with reports that we will send JP, indicating our performance for the last period of time. I can tell you for a fact that Each guardhouse that we're operating in has over 100,000 pictures taken in a month. So that shows you how robust and capable this technology is. The other side of the reporting feature is what we will call information on incident reporting. And those are the reports that you're referring to that you never receive. These are also generated through phone, and they will report anything from an arm gate damage, or a suspicious individual, or any other security type event that we identify that deems warrants to be reported to JP. Now, technology allows us to send that report via email to anyone on that distribution list. Because of the parameters that are set in our contract, we will send everything to JP. Now, what happens afterwards is literally up to the legislation, the regulations, the rules, which obviously we don't dictate. You're gonna see that officers create a lot of reports. Going back to the reports that Jeremy has received for the other communities, there are a lot of them.
John, I apologize. We should be going based off public comment times.
Right, okay,
So
right.
if you just go ahead for the record, if you'd like to increase the time for him to continue to speak.
Do you need more time?
No,
I'm only if you had if you wanted to continue, you can, just, I need that to approve it.
Do you need more time or not?
no.
No, you
I think I was able to deliver the gist of what I'm trying to say.
I like to open up maybe public comments, since we're in all public
Yeah,
comments. Do you have anything you wanna say?
No.
Julian? No? David?
I do have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
We
You
have-
you can talk at any time.
Yeah,
It's in front of
no,
me.
but I.
If you can, state your name and your.
Yeah, my name is Raul Lebron Gonzalez, I am 16021 West Room Circle, Miami Lakes. The comment is basically, there are some ideas that we're trying to come in as a security committee. Eugene is aware and he's trying to get them in place. But we wanna know your willingness to participate in those ideas if they come. Like one of them was from a neighbor that, what if we have a recording camera all the time?
Body
in the
cam.
security- A body cam, exactly. So the other agency that we have were not somehow willing to participate. They say that their guards were not trainable. That was a comment they say. They were not trainable to either use the body cams and replace the recording cards or whatever. Or what was the other idea?
Well,
we had also?
let's go one by one, because that way
Dash
people
cam.
can
Can I-
discuss and understand.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So.
I have an answer for that too, by the way.
You go first, you go first.
You sure?
Yeah, you go
Alright.
first.
In the new art, remember, what happened, they have a contract. So what happens in their contract, there's a cost associated with their contract. So there's certain things that they can do within their contract, certain things that they can't do within their contract. In the new RFP that's going to be written, that's one of the things that we're investigating with the town to see if that can be incorporated and how that gets implemented. I think it will be, unless every security company starts saying, hey, look, that's a no, that we get the same thing that they're untrainable and trainable now. We could ask the question, but go ahead.
So it's not just simply adding it to the contract, it is a matter of can it be legally possible? Now, you gotta think of, from a liability standpoint, once you have a body camera like that, it's a matter of public record. If anyone wanted to pull up those records for stalking purposes, for, anything like that, it becomes a public record for the town. So that's just one example. There's other factors involved, but that's why we have to make sure we're making sure that we're making legal and appropriate use when we're talking about cameras. One of the things that we've discussed is adding a camera to the front. Now, I don't have an answer to this point, but that is something that's in discussion. So it's possible that at some point, but it would have to be something that would be more like a live feed. It can't be recorded or anything like that. So,
Yeah, and I think the vehicle, they're also looking at putting it in the vehicle,
in the road.
Right.
Exactly.
right. So it's totally fine for them to have a camera inside the
Yeah, right.
guardhouse,
Mhm.
watching the guards. Out, you know, if we're talking about outside or body cams and stuff like that, I'd have to get back to you on that. That we'd have to.
No, you go first.
John, is that the reason why you are not having the camera outside the
Yes, sir.
guardhouse?
I just want to indicate that I love technology. So any technology that we're allowed to use to give this community and this contract more transparency, more oversight, more information to improve decision-making, I am absolutely in favor, and we will sponsor it and we will work hard to make it happen. Technology also has its flaws. Technology is not perfect, but it has improved, it can go a long way, and I'm sure that it will enhance the performance of the security officers, but again, it is not my place or my, place to make a decision on this. I just wanna say that we like it, and we would love to use it.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Please.
before you do, are you opening public comments again?
I like to open up
Yeah.
public comments if they haven't had opportunity.
Is there a second?
Second.
If something is not in the contract,
Sorry again, can you
Oh.
state your name and your,
Dave Ackerman, 16121 Aberdeen. If something's not in the contract, does that prevent them from offering it for free? I mean, I've signed contracts for hundreds of millions of dollars, and if the vendor says, I'm gonna throw this in, I'm gonna do this in addition, I don't stop them. That's an incentive for us to retain that vendor.
So, to answer your question, there's something that's not in the contract that they provide all the time, which is, the road captain makes routine trips around. Once they go to an area, they'll make routine trips around the neighborhood, which as kind of like a second rover, whenever they do, is that correct?
They're called
Confirm that?
community patrols.
Community patrols. So, to answer your question, yes, it is possible. Now, that being said, them providing something, we still have to follow, rules and regulations and laws. And we gotta make sure that we're doing something that, is appropriate.
So what's illegal about giving a guard a cam?
From a liability standpoint, let's look at it from a liability standpoint. You're somebody, I guess I really shouldn't get into too many examples.
Well, I have some examples because we were
Yeah.
talking about it. I don't think he's saying no. I think it has to be vetted out, and there's some civil right type stuff or civil liberties type issues that have to be cleared up. It's being looked at. I want you to know, I think the attorneys, this is not just the only one. Barbed wire, we're looking at everything. Everything is being looked at. What are the yes? Unfortunately, what I hear a lot of times is not a yes or a no, it's a maybe. So then the maybe is a
Can't deal with
real
maybe.
problem, right?
Can't
Now,
deal with maybe.
That's what the lawyers do.
What I will say is, I can confirm that we are discussing it. We're discussing any and all avenues to improve security outside of just bringing in SMA. So everything is part of it.
Part of the RFP that we're looking at is to do it points assessed, because I think one of the problems that we do suffer from is that if you go with just lowest price, you're gonna get lowest price. So if I'm them and I see a package that says, these are the steps that I have to do, I wanna win the contract, you've done this, you're gonna try to get it with the lowest price so you can retain the contract. Then you put added value later, as you work with your overhead and so forth. But we're gonna try to put an RFP where there'll be a selection committee, and there'll be an opportunity to give added points to one firm over another firm. Like if they give us cameras nothing's for free, but for,
Whatever.
they're adding more security, we can vote, hey, you know what, we're gonna give them more points. But that has to go through the town has to approve that mechanism.
basically it'll be, an adjusted score price. So we would all, let's suppose that it's you, me, and him. We all give certain points. We're gonna take the price and divide it by the points, and then that'll be an adjusted price for them, so they'll have a lower price. So maybe they don't come out with the lowest price, but they're giving us enough that everybody feels that's how we're trying to do the next RFP. But that has to go through the town, and the town has to approve it, because the town has its own RFP process, and we have to follow that. We can't neglect the process that they have. Plus, it saves us a lot of money, because they already have a process that's been adjudicated and can be done, so we're looking at that.
That wasn't my question, though. My question was, if the vendor wants to throw in a freebie after the fact, can they?
If it has to be approved, it has to be, just because they wanna throw something in, doesn't mean that we're gonna approve it, you know? Just to give you to answer your question as best I can, they're offering to provide a camera for free. They are, on their dime. You wouldn't have to pay anything. It wouldn't be any additional tax dollars. However, we have to make sure that we can do that.
So what's the
So
approval
right now, it's
process?
going through legal, and once that gets vetted, and the decision is made that we can go ahead and proceed with that, they will go ahead and provide.
And how long does that take? To ask a lawyer, can you do it? Seriously?
I would give it some time. This is all, this whole process has not been very long, so,
If I can just add, I can imagine the fact that we're not a private community, but that would allow or disallow certain things. that
yeah, it
has to
changes
be done.
everything. If it was
So
a
that's-
private community, there wouldn't even be a discussion.
Right,
But because it's a public community,
right.
it
and
is,
that's what-
that is a public road,
yeah.
You can't just
People have
put,
rights, have
just-
different rights.
just to give you an idea, I can't put a camera on my street, I could put it on my house, but I can't put it on my street. What you're asking for is to put a public camera on your public road and your public street. Try to do that at any other public road, it wouldn't be feasible. So that's just to give you an idea.
That's not true. There are cameras all over the place.
Those are LPRs. Those are LPRs run by the police. There are cameras that you'll see at your local Walgreens that'll be showing the street, but it will be connected to a building, a private building. What you're asking for is to put a public camera on a public street. That's why we have to make sure that it is feasible. So I'm not, like he said, we're vetting right now. It's not, no.
We have not been told no.
No
And
one
the
said
answer's
no.
been made.
So
And believe me, no one's
when will we
pushing for
know
it.
if that's legal and why or why not? It is.
And believe me, no one is pushing for it harder. You and I have had plenty
So
of
just
discussions on
give
that.
us a date.
I
When
can't
will we
give you a
get-
date right
Why
now.
not? I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's ask a lawyer, investigate the law, and come back with an answer and explain, if not, why it isn't allowed.
We're working through it and we're doing our due diligence. I don't have a date for you at this time.
Can I make a comment? Because I think we're talking, we're spinning our wheels for a little bit. The camera that he suggested was a camera in the guardhouse to monitor the guards.
Correct.
Has nothing to
That's
do with the
different.
vehicles
Yeah.
going in and out, just to make sure that they're not falling asleep, that they're not, TikToking, et cetera, right? So keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm with you. I believe in cameras to monitor and to view and to check. I realize that there are legalities involved, particularly when they're out in public. But, I mean, if you guys can figure that out and
But they are providing cameras, and if you look at their posting orders, even pedestrians walking by, that the software and the camera by itself does that. It takes
We will be taking pictures of any pedestrian coming in.
coming in, and then at a certain time, between a certain time to a certain time,
Okay.
they also, the word challenge is a little strong, but they provide a challenge. It's voluntary by the individual coming in, but it's in their posting orders. If you have it, you could read through it.
Can I just,
Sorry, go ahead.
So, obviously I haven't been here very long, but since I took over the role, one of the first things that I did was work with John and George to update these post orders.
Right.
A lot of the things that you see are very much updated from the language of and you could take one yourself. From the language of how they go and take the picture, we wanted to make sure that the post orders are written in a way that is easy for the guards to understand and to make sure that they're following them. So one of the things, for example, is I don't wanna see the guards opening the gate before they take the picture. The first thing that they have to do is take the picture, then go open the gate. So that was one of the things that we made changes to. Another thing that we made changes to, as you just discussed right now, is any pedestrians that are walking in, they will be taken a picture of. Anyone on a bicycle, a picture will be taken. So those are things that were added, not just for your community, but overall. So those are some of the things we've changed among, like you also mentioned, after a certain period of time, it'll be manually opened. The exit gate will be manually operated by the guard. So that's also in the post orders. Another couple of things that I can mention is, I've worked with SFM in the other locations, and there's a big difference in management. And I think ultimately that's what it comes down to, is management. Each guards are gonna come and go. There's gonna be some good ones, some bad ones. At the end of the day, the price is the price. The cost. We're not paying for rocket scientists. We're paying for lower wages than that. So one thing that I will say is SFM has been very willing to work with me to make sure that I have now access to the cameras in their guardhouses, inside their guardhouses, so I can watch from my phone, I could watch from my computer. I have access to the trap tick, is that correct?
Yes.
Which allows me to check the cameras themselves, not the cameras, the pictures, the logs, the pictures that are taken. They are always sending me reports. They've even worked with me to update the reports that are more catered to what we need, which is very helpful. As far as breaking things down from anything from what kind of report we're getting, whether it be a car accident at the gate, broken gate, it's broken down to the T, to everything that we need. So when I get those reports, they're very helpful with that. And last thing I'll say is they're providing monthly reports to me with data, which helps us to identify weak spots, strong points, and that'll also be provided when they come to Loch Lomond as well. So that is one thing that I will 100% say, that communication, working with them has been excellent. Being able to work with them has been a pleasure. Kent, unfortunately, I wasn't getting any reports. So I didn't get any reports of any incidents that were occurring. If there was an incident with a guard gate being broken or anything like that, I'd get a call. If they missed the call, or sometimes I wouldn't get a voicemail, I'd have to call back. There weren't any documentation was trouble. I get text messages sometimes from the guards themselves instead of the management, which is ultimately, that's where you would expect it from. So, yeah, that's what I'll say.
All right.
Public comment still, no? Anybody?
We close public comment then. Hey, just backtracking on my report real quick. In the chat, and we're trying to get it out, a Google Doc is being asked of you. And that's for, one, for our own information, security information. Hopefully we can implement that someday with the use of the gate. So if you can, reply to that. We'll also be doing a paper one to get your stickers for your car. We'll be incorporating that into the Google Doc to better secure the community and get communication from the town that way too. So I failed to mention that in my report. Move on to the landscaping. What's the latest on?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
I'll have to get back to you on
You need
that.
to be pretty. All those in favor for pretty?
Yeah. I know, okay, so you'll give us,
Yeah, I'll
what's
get
the
back to
latest?
you.
I know we kind of,
I'll
there's
send you
supposed
guys
to be,
an email on that.
all right, reach in. Lighting and, Loch Lomond. I just wanna state on the camera here, it is a public concern if the lighting isn't proper. I think it hinders the security and the police and our residents for their safety if lighting is not, properly working. And then that also includes, trimming around the lights. If the light is covered with trees, you know, it's not conducive for safety concerns. I understand that's part of public works.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to be stated here that this is a safety issue and that it does need to be addressed.
For the record, it would fall outside of the NSD, the
Mhm.
Neighborhood Service District Advisory Board responsibilities. However, I will talk to Public Works.
Please.
I'm gonna tell you, there's something where I think you have a loophole to get to them. I think for some of the roving guards, there's a little bit of a concern. If I were a guard, if I'm going down Troon, some of these areas, the trees have covered the light so much that the guard can't, almost you could say it's a potential that they can't do their job, right? Because they should be able to see within 5 or 10 feet. I walk, and everybody see me walking around, I walk that neighborhood at all kinds of times, and sometimes it gets pretty dingy.
Yeah, I was there a couple nights ago. I drove by at night after being here, and yeah, it's very.
And some of it is not enough lighting, and you're stuck with the, you know, you only have so many posts, they're on one side, but if there are trees all around it, and I think West Troon was one, between Glen Eagle, it's really, really, really dark.
So I'll talk to Public Works, obviously. You have my word on that.
Okay, that's all we need.
And I'll also talk to our arborists to see about the trimming cycle in that area specifically. If there were lights to be added, the trimming cycle would be important. So I'll get back to you guys
All right,
on that.
appreciate that. All right, John, if you'd report on this right track, wrong track.
So I provided the handouts. They're there. There's two separate ones that I printed out. One is with the questions and the answers that were provided. The other one is with charts and data to provide. One thing I will say, there was only 13 people that responded, which is quite low. So I wouldn't say that this is a barometer of how everyone may or may not feel. So we may want to send that out again with more.
What's the purpose of sending this out? Is my question.
The purpose of sending it out is to get a feel for what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we can improve on. It is possible to, I know that some of the other NSDs actually adding questions to it, which for the future.
Okay.
If it's a question that you wanted to add or change, that's something to consider. But ultimately, it is to make sure that we're on the right track.
How was
Yeah,
it
this is
sent
the
out?
best.
Huh?
How was it sent out?
So it was sent out in a letter
Letter.
letting everyone know about the upcoming budgetary meetings.
Never did.
During those budgetary meetings, I had put a QR code. You saw it, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So if you did not receive it, then I need to verify your address. That's one thing that I want to make sure for the upcoming year, because we usually send them out during during the budget meetings, is I want to make sure that I have
We'll make sure you get a better sample next time.
a better sample. Well, better sample would be great. A better, I need to make sure that I have everybody's addresses up to date, exact.
Can't you use the tax records?
I didn't do that this time around. Honestly, to be frank with you, I was less than a month on the job, so now that I know that I can go through that, I will make sure the next time out to get that right. So I apologize. That's on me that you didn't.
But I would assume the tax records are accurate, otherwise
Yeah,
you wouldn't get your money, so.
So I'll make sure to do a better job of that, sending them out. I'm also looking for better ways to send it out. So maybe it's not best to put it on a letter, but we'll play with that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. There is a handout of how the budget was finally approved by the council. I'm just handing it out, I'm not discussing it. We did, we made our suggestion, the council voted, you can compare the differences. So, moving into new business. So, changing of the guard, sounds like we've kind of already covered that.
We went over, yeah, just to,
Alright.
again, touch base, 11/5/23, November 5th will be the last day of Kent at Loch Lomond, and then effective, November 6th at midnight, at 12:01, SFM will come in. They will not be able to put their camera in the security guardhouse until that day, until 12:01. So there may be a delay on the camera, just a heads up, might be put in that later in the morning or whatever.
Makes sense.
Alright, so that's November sixth.
That would be November 6th, correct.
Thank you. Alright, update on, process of NSD capital improvement.
Right, so all capital improvement projects going forward will require a vote from residents. The voting process is still being determined as to how it's gonna be done. But basically, anything that is, anything at all that is a capital improvement, no matter the value, it'll be decided by you, the board. It'll go to council will then approve to see if it goes on a ballot, and then it gets voted on, and then once it's voted on, then it has to go back to the council, then approved.
Okay,
So it
what are
is
the
gonna-
capital improvements that were in mind when this comment's being made?
No, I'm just making this comment to make you guys all aware, that's all. There's no, capital, I wrote some capital improvements that I've wanted to discuss with you guys,
Okay,
that would fall in line with this.
Okay.
alright,
As an example, are you ready to move to the next one?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the capital improvements that I wanted to mention was adding an awning to the front of the guardhouse for sun. One of the things that I put in the post orders was the guards are to be outside at all times when a car is coming. I don't want the guards taking pictures from inside the guardhouse, that defeats the purpose. So with that section in particular, it does get hit by the sun. There's no shade there, so wanted to mention if that was something that you guys would be open to, possibly adding an awning to the guardhouse.
Is
I
there
think that
enough
makes
room
sense.
if trucks are going by?
I apologize, it would have to be through, unless they open up for
Yeah.
public comments.
Hey, we'll open up for public comment.
alright,
Second.
Is there enough room? Trucks come by, I don't know if there's enough space.
I believe there would be an option for a short one, that would be bored down, it would be.
I have an
short.
idea for that too.
Yeah,
You could have a retractable.
or a retractable one could work as well. However, you guys,
I think it's a good idea, because I've actually seen them. I think the awning's gonna help more, not when they come outside. Sometimes they have to come outside, particularly because the sun is hitting them when they're in the guard gate.
right,
So it makes it difficult for them, so they come outside anyway. But anything that can improve the comfort, I'm all for, but.
It would have to be on the east side, because like Dave says, there's big trucks that come, if you cover the drive area, it's gonna be destroyed.
are we gonna leave this up to open discussion?
Yes, leave it up, of course.
Alright, so then, in that case, I think that what you just said is a good idea about having a retractable one. I can look into it to see some different costs and see what's available, and then I'll bring it back to you for the next meeting or so.
There's another thing you could do, you could make it, I mean, it's gotta be looked at. Somebody could look at it, it could be higher, right? It doesn't have to be at
But
the
are
same.
you talking about over the road?
No.
Where are you talking?
An awning on the guardhouse, so.
Where?
Be connected to the guardhouse, so.
No, I understand, but extending to what? To
He
where?
doesn't, I don't think he knows the geometry of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
So
the
I think you have to look at the geometry, you
Right.
have a very good point. One idea is to make it retractable, right, that they could do that. I don't know how, what's the word, not convenient, how practical
Yeah.
that would be, but it's an option.
If it's on the east side, they gotta come out anyway,
Right.
because when the car stops at the gate, they have to walk out and go behind the vehicle.
Absolutely, and
So if anything, it would be on the east side of the,
I think it'll be on the south side, not the east. The east, he's on the golf course. If we're looking, if I'm seeing it the same way you are, right?
Well,
Here's-
I'm saying, I don't know
Here's the
whether
guard,
it's
here's
east
the
or
guard.
looking
This is the
towards,
guard. This is
looking
the guard
towards,
gate.
67th,
East would be towards 67th.
yeah.
The cars come on this side.
Mhm.
It doesn't make any sense to have it over here. It would have to be on the south side. So the guard gets in front of the south side, that's a good idea. That's actually an excellent idea. Where they can have a chair or a bench and they can sit there and
I wanna make, one point. They
Has to be
are,
looked at.
they're able to go they should be able to go inside the guardhouse. But when there's cars coming,
Yeah.
they need to be outside.
No, I understand what I'm
So
saying is.
really, it's just a
if we
protection
can't
of
put
the
it
sun
on
when they're
over
out.
the
Well, the
roadway.
entrance, whether it's east, I mean, to me, it's east, but towards the entrance, you know, like, they come out, right? Come out and they stand at the entrance, so that the
Yeah, back
vehicle's
here.
stopped.
I don't think you're gonna catch it from there.
No, but I think, I guess we're both right, it's southeast. Right, it's right here.
I don't have a compass right now.
Yeah, but you can see it on that.
Well, I'm using 67th Avenue,
Yeah, I'm
Right.
using that too.
right, so to me, it's more south, but southeast. What I'm saying is in front of
La
the, in la entrada, pero not to the left, towards.
No, Chico, to the right. as you're
Right,
coming
making
in.
sure.
Some
I-
contractor
yeah,
has to
once
look
you're out,
at it
you're
and
out.
figure out what's
I think that-
practical and possible.
I think that I will have, what I'll
It's a
do
good
is,
idea.
if you guys approve it, I will go ahead and look for some different options and maybe have somebody come out and see what is the best position for it.
Is there a cost to the, I have to ask this question, is there a cost to HOA in asking that price, in getting that price?
To the HOA,
Yeah,
no.
in getting the price,
I hope not.
okay.
If it's not, if they're not giving us free quotes, I'm not gonna.
No, well, I meant in looking, I make, are you okay with, I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we ask the town to find out for us, to come with some prices and geometry that we can present to look at. Because I think that's a,
I don't see it practical, I don't see it happening, because,
He'll figure that out.
because he comes out, steps out of the door, he's in the driveway. And like you say, if a truck comes, even if retractable, and then if he has
Yeah,
to
but
go,
what
if
he's-
he has to go around.
If you really wanna go crazy, you could build an arch
Once we get there, yeah, once you get.
over the
there.
roadway, because in the rain, the guy's gotta come out and he's gonna be soaked
look, this is what I'm
anyway,
saying.
so build an arch.
This is what I'm
If you
saying.
really wanna do it, but that's expensive and is it realistic?
What I'm saying is, here's the guardhouse.
Yeah, it's gotta
Instead of
be a
putting
very
it
high
here,
arch,
put it here. Put a
because in
bench
the
here.
rain,
Now,
they're gonna get
he
soaked.
can get, he or she can get cover from the sun. You can put that there, it's not over the roadway.
Right,
That-
this is the entrance, this is
Right.
the lake is here, right?
Right,
The
right.
Golf course lake, yeah, right here.
This is
I
what.
would take part of the garden.
But he still
Yeah, the
then
grass.
has to come out the door.
But they have to do that anyways, because
Yeah.
they don't have the space right now, they always have to be on the side. I
Now,
think
is he
that's
gonna
what
be
you're
able
Yeah,
to
that's
take
what I'm
a
saying.
picture from an angle there? towards
Well,
like
you
this?
can put it far back enough where you can get a picture of the vehicle. I don't know, it's worth looking at.
It's something to look into.
Yeah, no,
You
that's all
know,
right.
this does, just
No,
because
no,
they
I'm not
vote,
saying
just because
that's
they
right.
vote now to approve
Uh,
me looking into it,
Yeah,
doesn't mean
look
it's
into it.
ultimately gonna be done.
Look into all possible, because I'm concerned about the rain. When it's pouring like we get those downpours, the poor
Yeah, anything that can make it more comfortable, but that might be a
car
way
has
of
to go
doing
out.
it.
Yeah,
You don't want that.
I'm gonna look into, you know, all
Take
options, and
pictures.
for the next one, I'll have something,
Yeah.
some quotes and some ideas for you, maybe even a sketch.
I think his idea is the best one, to put it on that
Yeah.
side. Now you don't have to worry,
Maybe one of these days, you and I can go out there and.
you name the time and the place, I'll be there.
I'll give you a call.
Alright.
The next one that I wanted to talk about, for me, would be very helpful and very important, communication. I wanna be able to provide updates whenever there's anything, for example, meetings like today, if I'm able to send out, mass text message or a mass email to the entire, Loch Lomond community, letting them know, 6 o'clock tonight, there's gonna be a meeting, NSD meeting, or, the guard, somebody rammed into the guardhouse and the guard gate is gonna be up. Let everybody know, hey, there was broken guard gate, we're working to repair, and just give you updates on anything that is guardhouse related, guard related, so that you're all aware.
We should get that to you by the end of the year. So everybody has a chance to fill
Yeah.
out that paper, get their stickers.
So, yeah, so if you guys can help me, it's not really a capital improvement, because it doesn't really cost.
I think we can start giving to him like on a monthly, what we have on a monthly basis, and he can update his list.
Exactly.
He has something now.
Even
Don't
better,
wait
if
till
you could
December.
provide me emails, that would be even
Yeah.
easier,
All
cause I
right,
can
we'll
put
give
it
you
on
what
an
we got
Excel
this
sheet
time.
and just, BCC everybody and send it out, so,
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Capital improve, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Hey, I open it up to
No,
comments and
second.
There you go.
Since you're talking about, making improvements, at the end of Glen Eagle, that fence, that gate is, my grandma can jump over that, literally.
That's where we talked about Barbara.
If she was alive. Is there a way to, increase, that gate, with like maybe pointy iron rods, in a nice decorative way? So as to, if you're gonna jump it, you're gonna take a risk at, getting stuck on it.
I believe this is before my time, but I think you guys had a conversation about this with Jeremy one time before.
Yeah, it's a height issue, but it go.
Well, yeah.
The town never said anything about the height. We internally were looking at it.
I'll get back to you.
I can talk to, just on my end, I could talk to Public Works about it and, see what, see what.
I think it's on the agenda of the items that we wanna do, so I think we're giving Public Works too much.
Would that be an HOA thing? I don't know, I'd have to look.
It
into
would
Who owns
definitely
the
be.
fence?
Is it HOA or is
It's
it?
all we own the fence.
No, I think it is HOA.
It's HOA.
Is it HOA?
It was built by a couple homeowners that chipped in.
Oh, really?
And there's no cameras on that side, right?
No,
That would be
No.
another issue, but those are public street cameras.
And if you wanna make it part of the district.
yeah,
go right ahead.
more like.
That'd be
Because
great.
of the budget.
Hey, man, I'll do whatever's requested of me, so. That's,
Sure.
No harm to try.
All right, we'll talk about that.
No, we can definitely talk about it.
If you could put it on your list of to-dos,
I have to see if it's something that, like you said, it's probably built by the HOA itself, so it probably have to be done.
I think it's been there for a long time, so I would only be speculating.
Yeah.
I would imagine it was a combination between the town, whatever was the town, yeah, whatever the county and people and stuff like that.
We could have a conversation, we could sit down and have a conversation, look back at it and then see how you guys wanna proceed on that. I don't think that it falls under our scope, but I'll look into it, for sure, and see what can be done.
Okay.
We're still talking security issues,
Okay, good.
kind of.
Yeah.
The third one, which everybody mentions, is the golf course. And legally or technically, do they have a responsibility for their property in maintaining security of some type? Which there is absolutely none that I know of.
Right.
But should they, for whatever reasons, they own all this property in the town and it surrounds a lot of residential areas, should they, or do they, or must they have some type of security to protect everything that they surround?
I will have to do a deep dive into that, and I will definitely look into it.
I have some information on that.
You already, alright.
The major, is it the major or the
Major
commander?
Gonzalez.
Major Gonzalez went to see the Grams, I think with one of and they started implementing some stuff. And one of the stuff they did, they started receiving complaints right after.
From who, the golfers or the residents?
I think it was from a resident or residents, so
What-
just keep that in mind.
Do you know what it was?
Yeah, I think it was something with lighting. But that's what I heard. I don't, everything is hearsay. But they did approach them in terms of, that they were gonna do something, and I think they started down that route.
Yeah,
And I think whenever you put security, obviously there's liability and stuff that they wanna put themselves, you know.
well, I could see being a resident and having extra lighting in your backyard that you might not want. I don't know how I'd feel if I see a security guard driving by my backyard.
Exactly.
That might be something
Yeah,
good,
I think-
unless you're up to no good
I
in
think
your
what
backyard.
they are doing something, another thing that I think they come up is that they looked at, when they entered to the Farris house, it looks like they came from the Palmetto side, the CD road that's back there. And there's a little canal, there's a fence that's open. Well, they were trying to see if that's not their fence, that's not their property. It's outside of their property, it came from South Florida Water Management District. So I think somebody got in contact with them. Last time I was golfing around there, it still looked like it was a little raggedy. But Danny was at one of the meetings saying that they were trying to button that up. And I think their property now is gonna be under construction, some of that might be. I think that a lot of the people that come in from the back, that I've heard from some of the neighbors, and I'm speculating, I don't think they're jumping all the way back like that. I think they're coming in right by their guard gate. They start walking through the trail where there's enough lighting, and they're coming in and they're hanging out, and so they got rid of those little bikes, the Liz, those little scooters. They can't operate. I don't even know if they can operate in the town anymore. But they got rid of those, and that's where it's at. But the major did go talk to them to explain to them some of the security issues, and that they work with them and so forth.
Is that ongoing, or is it just end because one
That's
of the
all I heard.
residents complained about it?
No, that's what I heard. I think it's a legitimate concern. We can put it back and see, to have some type of.
Regardless, I'm gonna reach out to the.
But I think the Grahams, what I understood was that they are all in favor they have family that lives in the community. So they're all in favor for security, but I
As long
think.
as they're all in favor of paying for the security.
Yeah, I think, if you start putting up lights and something, and then you start receiving complaints, then, sheesh.
Yeah. No, I got it. Well, I'm glad, thank you for looking.
That's what I found
All
out.
right, good.
Well, something was done.
All right. Anything else? Does it go to the order? Motion to adjourn? All right, second?
A second.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.